I've been thinking about the propaganda I grew up with. No, I didn't emigrate from Eastern Europe or Russia. I grew up in the good old USA, or one of its many military bases around the free world. There were upwards of 1,000 bases. It took that many to keep the free world free. Pax Americana. The propaganda was to remind U.S. citizens of how free they were. Remind them that capitalism and religious freedom and democracy were intertwined and that constant vigilance was required lest the authoritarians sneak up on us. On the bases I grew up on, it was the AFRTS that broadcast several such messages every hour, the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. AFRTS, well, think Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam. Our system is the best. Their system is slavery. It was basically the same message on civilian media back in the States. That content was called PSA, Public Service Announcements. Little vignettes extolling the life of patriots like Paul Revere and George Washington, the maker of silver teapots and the father of his country, respectively. The AFRTS messages were heavy on the theme that you could only tell the enemy your name, rank, and serial number should you get captured. North Korea and the People's China had scared the bejesus out of the USA military and government with brainwashing. GIs captured had their brains washed and were soon spouting enemy lies, propaganda, on radio and over loudspeakers at the demilitarized zone. Our government and way of life was slandered by these brainwashed prisoners of war. A huge effort was put into inoculating the troops against this with positive messages on free enterprise, religion, and democracy. But really, your public service message is my propaganda and vice versa. George Orwell, the British author, is being called in often these days to comment from the past on our era. His 1984 coined so many phrases, we sure can use them now. Phrases like war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. It's been said that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. Big Brother isn't watching, AI is. Its cameras are everywhere, and as are its microphones. Big Brother said, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Orwell didn't see the future, but he did see patterns in human behavior. Controlling the past, that is to say history, makes me think of January 6th in 2021. The DOJ is about to erase the legal memory of those unruly tourists who entered the Congress that day. 2 + 2 makes 5. In the novel, it was a litmus test for fealty to the party. 2 and 2 form 22, as in the 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which prohibits anyone from being elected to the presidency more than twice. Steve Bannon, briefly a Trump admin insider, and Andy Ogles, U.S. Representative from Tennessee, and Alan Dershowitz, the prominent constitutional scholar and Harvard law professor, each of these men subscribe to the new math. They can accept that 2 + 2 = 5. Further, they can say it without a smirk. They can say without a smirk that Trump might serve a third term. The subject of propaganda came up because I have wondered how the cultural political situation managed to arrive where it is today in the USA. What the Germans call the Zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. In part, it's because the propagandas changed. Yes, propagandas. There are many. There were fewer back in my youth. Now there are a couple. The polarization that characterizes things in a simplified way involves two poles, the left and the right. Hard to imagine anything like that in 1950. There was the correct point of view, and anything else would get you investigated by HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee. So a lot of this propaganda supplied to the media was a continuation of the war effort to get everyone pulling for victory. The propaganda during the war wanted a unified home front producing the weapons and the soldiers. You didn't have to be a red, a tool of Moscow. You could have your career ruined by suggestions that you were pink, a pinko, not red, but reddish. Understanding how the blue-red divide today hasn't called the left red. Not sure why. In 1950 it would have been. So this is 50-50 division. The impossibility of not belonging to either camp because there's a variety of propaganda. Are people so susceptible that without being told what to think, they'd wander aimlessly without any slogans or allegiances? It's a rhetorical question. I think the last 80 years have suggested that that's true. Propaganda is what, in some form or another, in some direction, predominant propaganda creates a unified culture because I think about 80% of the people don't do their own thinking. It's sad to say, but maybe that's what is needed, whether it be a fascist mentality or a liberal democracy, more likely fascist these days. Well, you take care of yourself, and as you might have noticed, I got the green screen working, so we're going to have fun playing around with that. Ciao.